I entered a tank contest in Besiege, in which you can win up to 100 euros in gift cards. And this is how it went. Before I started building my tank, I went on the Besiege Discord to see exactly what the rules were for this contest. If you wish to join any future contests, make sure to join the Besiege Discord. Now, the rules are simple. The tank cannot have a higher block count than 600 and it shouldn't be mod dependent and glitched values are allowed. I will explain what those are soon. If I want to win, then I need to submit a tank that has the best appearance, flawless functionality and also be something original. And with that in the back of my mind, I began building the very base of a tank, the tank tracks. Now, if you don't know how to build tank tracks yourself, you could watch the tank track tutorial I made, linked in the description of this video. However, that video is so old that it makes more sense to just copy what I'm building here. So, I started by placing a few logs at the base of my tank track. I turned on a special view, which lets me see the solids and triggers of blocks. Now that I can see where my red and yellow triggers are, I moved the logs away from each other, just so the yellow trigger of the logs doesn't get removed by the red one. The reason why I do this is because the connection with the yellow triggers is far more robust than the red triggers. You can clearly see this when I smack the log into the wall. The log that's connected with the red triggers is a lot weaker than the log that's connected with the yellow triggers. Now I added powered cogs on both sides, and this would be what drove the tank track. You can do this part with normal powered wheels too, but those usually slip when torque is required. All I need to watch out for was to make sure to time the hinges right, so the cog's teeth could get in between them without much trouble. I wrapped the hinges around and tested the tank tracks. They did work okayish, but to make it work even better, I needed to add a couple of wheels on top so the hinges don't collide with the logs. I also added pistons underneath and pressed the F key while my cruiser was on them, so they extend outwards. These will be my suspension system and keep the tracks in place as well. Now there's one last step for the tracks. I need to give it the proper tank steering. I do this by selecting the key tool here and just going all over the cogs to adjust their keybinds. If I want to go to the right, my left track must spin forwards. If I want to go to the left, my right track must spin forwards. If you own the Splintered Sea expansion like I do, you can take a screw from the DLC, give it the highest power you can and copy it to the cogs. This is what we call a glitched value. There are a couple of blocks where you can take their options and copy them onto other blocks where it shouldn't be possible. After some fine-tuning with the acceleration and the power of the cog, I finished my tank tracks. It was finally time to add the turret of a tank. I wanted to build a bomb launcher with an autoloader, so I simply started by adding a grabber onto a steering hinge. The grabber will be holding our bomb before we launch it. I added a couple more steering hinges that would control the elevation of the part that launches the bomb. I made sure that the steering hinges' rotational point were parallel to the center of mass of the bomb, so there wouldn't be any unwanted launching issues. I added a log onto the steering hinge, making sure that the log was attached by the yellow triggers. Then I added a water cannon. This water cannon would be our part that launches our bombs far away. But before we can do that, I turned it into a steam cannon, which is a lot more powerful. You can make steam cannons even more powerful by copying the max power values from a shrapnel gun onto the steam cannon. You can also do the same trick with a normal cannon if you need more powerful cannons. I also forgot that our turret needs to have a traverse, otherwise I would have to aim with my hull. So I just added a simple spinning block, removed its spinning ability and put some hinges onto the spinning block. I made sure to center the rotational axis of the steering hinges with the spinning block. I added it simply to the top part of the turret, and now we have a fully functioning turret. My next step was to add a magazine and some logic for the autoloader. First, I added this simple logic, which would help me center the turret by holding down a key. I then added 2 timers to launch the bomb. When I press the shooting key, the grabber must let go of the bomb before the steam cannon launches the bomb. It is very important that there is a slight delay in letting go of the bomb and launching it off. I put down a couple of half pipes to create the magazine for the bomb and added a piston on the end of the pipes so they wouldn't fall off. The piston should only go down if I needed to reload. I've added another angulometer to the centering system, so if the turret was in the right place, it will trigger a bunch of timers to start the reloading mechanism. Here you can see how it functions. The only part that was missing now was to push the bombs forward to the turret. I decided to simply use ropes for this task, as they were much easier to control. And as you can see, it explodes. The reason why is because the turret needed some more braces to be stable, but also because the logs on the sides of the turret were too close to the bomb. But when fixing those issues, we got a working turret with an autoloader. I added the turret to the tank, fixing it in place by using braces and logs. Now it was time to put some armor plates onto the tank to make it look nicer. I started with the sides first and worked myself from the front to the end of the tank. I also added some wooden armor plates onto the to make it look a little nicer. And there, I was finished with my tank. I came back to it every now and then to optimize any issues I had, like the track breaking or the bomb exploding in the turret. And a week later, the results came, and the winner was... not me. Unfortunately, I didn't make it even to the top 4, but that is fine. Just because I didn't win this contest doesn't mean I won't win in any future ones. And to be honest, the other entries were a lot better than mine. So it would have been a big surprise to me if I did win. I still hope that this video helped you build your own vanilla tank with the technology I used to build mine. Make sure to stay around for the next video, where I will be showing you how to build a vanilla plane. Thank you for watching.